Reality is subjective. This is the fact. We spend a great deal of time, though, trying to make it objective. It's very useful to make reality objective because it gives us control. It's like the map in relation to the terrain. The terrain is what is real, but we spend a lot of time making maps, and when we have these maps, we spend a lot of time looking at them. This is an analogy, of course. Taking the analogy further, we can say that we spend so much time looking at the maps that we forget the terrain. So the making of maps is a result of this desire to make reality objective. That's what science is about. Science wants to make an objective map. And as I say, this is all fine in itself. But what's happened is we've forgotten the prime fact that reality is actually subjective. Consciousness is subjective. You cannot objectify it. Well, you can objectify it, but then it becomes something other than what it is. So as Enlightenment practitioners, we are coming back to the subjectivity of reality. This is the truth. And this is great, because when we're practicing, we can throw away the map. We don't need it anymore. We can use it when we need it. But as Enlightenment practitioners, when we're practicing, we don't need it. We don't need to take our cue from it. We're looking once again at the terrain, at the environment, at the reality. And it is wonderful. And in fact, there's no limit to how wonderful we can make it, or how wonderful we can realize it to be. Shortly after I recorded the last video, there was a bit of a realization going on, which tied in with what I was saying before about how we can be as blissful as it's possible to be. There's no limit. The only limits are our imagined ones. And this realization that consciousness, that reality, is essentially subjective, was incredibly liberating. It's liberating us from, well, let's never mind what it's liberating us from. But referring back to what I said a few moments ago about creating something truly wonderful, creating our own bliss, and this is what enlightenment is. Enlightenment practice isn't about stumbling into bliss. It's about realizing that we can choose it. We can choose to create it. We can choose to go beyond all limitations. We are free from all objective notions. So this is a big thing. This is a big thing. This objectivity is tied in with notions of cause and effect, which was mentioned in the previous verse. the idea that somehow consciousness has a cause, that reality has a cause. This is the process of objectifying reality, of objectifying consciousness. There is no cause for consciousness. Consciousness is what is. To talk about a cause for consciousness is to objectify it, and we are free from objectification. So this is a big thing. This is a big thing. And the next verse takes us further into this realization. Verse 672. Within the body, measuring 1 vyana, and 1 vyana is the measure of 2 extended arms, there is a world. The cause of its rising, the attaining of cessation, and the path. This I teach to sons of the victor, or children of the Buddha. Let's not be gender specific here. So this is an interesting one. Within the body, measuring 1 vyana, there is a world. Now, it's very helpful that Professor Suzuki tells us what 1 vyana is, the measure of 2 extended arms. What's the significance of this? Now you might be thinking in terms of height. There's the height of a body, the measure of 2 extended arms. But remember, there is a world within this body. Now, the body is what we inhabit. It's where we live. Objectively, we might say we live in a physical body. But subjectively, can you see that there is no body? The body measuring 2 extended arms isn't a vertical distance. It's this distance. Can't quite get it into the video here, but this is actually what I inhabit. Now, to you it looks like a body, but to me it is actually the world. The world is actually the length of the size of my 2 extended arms. This is the body I inhabit. Now, if you're familiar with Douglas Harting's headlessness, you'll know where I'm coming from with this. This is exactly the sort of thing he would say. This 2 extended arms actually delimits the visual field. So it's the visual world that I inhabit. But it's sight which is the main sense which contributes to a sense of space. So the world, this is the world. This is the world I inhabit. It's the world my attention goes out into, and in doing so attempts to objectify it, make it into an external object, and make me into an object as well. The object that I see in the mirror, the object that other people seem to see. So this is the objective world, and the Buddha teaches the cause of its rising, which I've hinted at there, the attaining of cessation and the path. This is reminiscent of the 4 Noble Truths, isn't it? Instead of the world, the 4 Noble Truths talk about suffering, and the cause of suffering, and the cessation of suffering, and the path that leads to the cessation of suffering. So this is tied up with the objective world. Suffering is limitation, and all limitation is tied up with objectivity, notions of control and notions of cause and effect. Now that all has its place, just as maps are very useful. I talked about throwing away the map. That's what we're practicing. And it's good to do this, but there are times we need to pick that map up and find our way again. So let's not be too rash. So we want to stop objectifying, and this is the cessation that the Buddha is talking about here. And he teaches the path. And the path, in the context of the Four Noble Truths, is the Eightfold Path. And the Eightfold Path has got three aspects, sometimes called the Threefold Training, which there's a video on, video 36. And this consists of sila, which is normally understood as ethical practice, meditation or samadhi, and wisdom, prajna. So how does this apply here? Well, sila, this is where we're at any particular moment. Sila is actually where we're working, the ground, the area of where we're working spiritually, and it's where the mind is at any particular moment. As Enlightenment practitioners, we need to be aware as much as possible, to the point where we can be aware at every moment what the mind is doing. What the mind is doing. And at this point, we're practicing meditation, awareness, mindfulness. This is samadhi, because once we're aware, we can come back to awareness and come back to subjective truth. Bring the mind, bring the attention back from the objective world, the ersatz world, ersatz reality, to true reality. And once we do this, we engage with the objective world in a more conscious way. This is wisdom. So Enlightenment practice is about coming back to subjective truth, freeing us up from the habit energy of our moods. From that basis, we can then enter into the world, the objective world once again, but on a different basis. It's ongoing. It's ongoing. So this is it. We have infinite potential to play with, and this infinite potential can actualize in infinite joy. As I've said before, these teachings are practical, and this means on a personal level that I apply them. Now I might be setting myself up for a fall here, but I'll let you know how it's going on. But what I've been saying in the past few videos is very exciting, and new vistas are opening up, new possibilities, new levels of realization. In a way, these videos are dispatches from the front line, and everything is looking good.